got love for you, man. You know what I'm saying?
What are we talking about? You know, I'm not here to start any trouble.
I'm only going to say nice things about you from now on. I think you're handsome, and I think you're a wonderful host.
I'm fat and I'm overweight. Just don't say anything silly.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take it serious.
You know, I don't want y'all to take anything out of context that I'm saying.
He's very funny. He likes to joke around a lot.
As a personality and as an entertainer, yes.
This is going to be really quick. I'm not taking any questions.
Go ahead and get comfortable. I'm going to talk for a little bit.
You're listening to Cabbie Presents, the podcast.
Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm your host, Cabbie Richards. Thanks for checking out the podcast. We are a few days removed from the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 47 in New Orleans, Louisiana. What a show. That was entertainment. I mean, and I'm going to include the power outage as part of the entertainment of the whole production because Twitter was off the charts. First of all, let me go back to the game. There were like 7,000 hours of pregame show on ESPN and the NFL Network. Of those 7,000 hours, I watched exactly 0, just because I knew what was going on, what was going to happen. And I heard little snippets of some of the storylines. Deer antler spray has now entered into pop culture. Deer antler spray. But anyway, on game day, Alicia Keys sung the StarSpangled Banner in a beautiful red gown, sitting at her piano in a record length of 2 minutes and 56 seconds. It was awesome. I'm one of the few people that doesn't really like the Marvin Gaye version from 1983. I believe he did that at the NBA All-Star game. I'm not really that crazy about that version. This version, the Alicia Keys version, I'm crazy about. Then Beyonce, in all her glory, as the baddest chick on earth, shut down the Southern United States during her brilliant halftime, after her brilliant halftime show. It was that performance was a game changer as far as the staging, the art direction, the lighting. I could go on and on. It was unbelievable. And then there was the actual game, Super Bowl 47. The unlikely Baltimore Ravens and the unlikely San Francisco 49ers. No one at the beginning of the season or midway through the season had either of these teams pegged as favorites or even in the top 5. Maybe the 49ers would have been in the top 5 in the NFL and were some sort of favorite to make it all the way to the final game. But that was an unbelievable game. With the exception of when the Packers won the Super Bowl, the last, 10 years have been unbelievable. There was that Steelers-Seahawks game wasn't that great, but I still think the Steelers over the Cardinals, that was the greatest Super Bowl game of all time. This one was very good. And the Patriots last year losing to the New York Giants was also very good. We will discuss that along with Justin Timberlake, some Facebook stuff, dating, and one of my favorite comedians in the business is here in studio. He jumps on the mic right now.
If it's going to be an interview, I'm going to conduct it. So I'll answer my own questions, ask myself the questions, then give y'all the answers.
Hailing from Oshawa, Ontario, this man has been a staple in the Canadian comedy scene for the better part of a decade. After a cross-Canada comedy tour chasing manhood, his manhood is now in high demand. Now appearing in season 2 of Mr. D on CBC and the host of Match Game on the Comedy Network. The two smartest and funniest people, or funniest and smartest people that I know in my real life are Mike Kiss and my guest, Darrin Rose. Welcome back to Cabbie Presents.
Thanks, man. It's nice to be here. That's a very nice intro.
Well, dude, I mean, those are all like truthful words. Like, you are all those things in my eyes. I don't know how the rest of the world sees you, though, dude.
Yeah. If we could bring all of them around, that would be the best.
That would be, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
if on Twitter it trends that I'm the smartest, funniest person everybody knows. That would be ideal.
We gotta get that somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be hard to get going.
You need like either like a tweet from Gaga, Kardashian, or maybe President Barack Obama, or or the Biebs.
I should hit him up. Obama, I feel, is probably my best chance. Is it crazy that he's the most accessible of those four people?
Yeah. You can maybe get to Kim Kardashian if you go to like an auction for like Kanye sneakers. Maybe she might be one of his.
That's true.
I just saw some online where his sneakers were like a signed pair of his Yeezy 2s went for 98 G's.
What?
Like those were more.
Wow.
You know what's crazier? You know what's crazy is those were like 3 times as much as the Back to the Future Nikes that
right.
like, when I think they announced like a year and a half ago that they were gonna bring them out in 2015, and they had like an auction. A pair went for $35,000.
Wow.
So the Kanye West like autographed Yeezys went for almost $100K. So
they did jump over the jump, man.
Yes,
it wasn't just idle boasting. It was like just
really
reporting facts.
I don't know if did you hear the I don't know if you listened to the Champs podcast with Neil Brennan, but he was talking about how on the Chappelle Show, Neil Brennan is the co-creator of the Chappelle Show, that he believes that Kanye West's first time on television was on the Chappelle Show when he did the food with Common.
Yeah, which is great.
And he said Kanye West showed up like Kanye West. Like even back then he was kind of like the backpack, the Louis, what was his line?
The Louis Vuitton Don?
Louis Vuitton Don, yeah, the like backpack rap or whatever.
Yeah.
But like Kanye's ego and his personality was as big back then when he wasn't like the Kanye West of 2013. Like like the 07 Kanye was still believed in his mind that he's the 2013 Kanye.
There's a tremendous amount of like of self-delusion but also confidence required to just try to pull that off, to just sort of create a self-image, and you'd be like, well, just give me 5 years of acting like this.
Not only will you
ridiculous.
get used to it, but you'll start to respect it.
Because he's still like going to Subway to get sandwiches and stuff.
Right? Is he?
Well, not now.
Oh, okay.
But then, you know what I mean? But he's got like leather pants on and sunglasses you can't actually see out of, and just like, no green peppers, extra lettuce. You know how I do it, Chi-Town. It's very impressive.
It is impressive. Like to have, yeah, you're right. That self-delusion or just that blind confidence.
Right. Like Lady Gaga was the same thing. Like when you see those old pictures of her when she was in Greenwich Village with like an acoustic guitar, and she's just like a normal girl. And then you see as she like discovered that she should be a bigger and bigger and bigger person. But you see her at concerts, like she played like Lilith Fair. Have you ever seen that tape?
No. Dude, like, what are you doing watching Lilith Fair? You don't have 2 X's in your chromosomes.
I was going to defend myself by saying, no, I was looking at it because I saw a thing about Lady Gaga, which is not a defense.
That's a feeble defense.
I mean, there's lots of girls in bikinis at that show. A lot of girls in bikinis who don't shave their armpits.
I was just about to go there.
But she's wearing like a bikini with but all these like studded belts wrapped around her, like a really low rent version of the person she wanted to be, but she'd have the money to have like a crazy kind of thing. And she plays this show for there's 10,000 people there, none of whom are interested in what she's selling.
Wow.
And it's such a crazy thing because she's got to go up there dressed as a cartoon.
Yeah.
But like a budget cartoon. And then think, don't worry, I'll get where I'm going. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's true. You really got to believe in yourself, or just be on. Dude, I was gonna say just be on crazy drugs. I was just this is unrelated. But I said the word drugs, which brings me to
I hope
story.
this is a story about you on crazy drugs.
No. I went to just this past weekend. I went to we're out at a party, and then go to like this girl's like, hey, come to this after party. I'm like, all right, fine. As I walk,
right. I know you. You act like you have your arm twisted. Fine. I'm going to this after party.
Fine. If there are girls there, I don't really want to hang out with girls, but if you insist,
I wanted to go home and just watch all the episodes of House of Cards on Netflix, but I guess I'll follow this cleavage fairy to wherever she's taking me.
So I literally walk into this dude's crib,
right?
And the first girl I see, I introduce myself. She introduces herself. Then she's like, and I'm not even lying. She's like, "Do you have any Molly?" So, do you have any? For those who don't, do you have any MDMA? I'm like, I turn around and look at RT. I'm like, this girl just asked me for Molly. I'm like, no, I don't have any Molly. I just got here. Like, what? Not that I could, finish her request or whatever, or find some for her. But I was like, weird. Like, I just stepped in, and she's the first person I saw, and then that's what she's asking me for.
I like that. It's like, well, how could I possibly have some? I just got here. Where's the Molly stand? I don't even have a drink yet.
I don't even have my Molly backpack. You know. So anyway, Darrin Rose, actor and comedian. What'd you do this past weekend?
I told jokes.
Where?
At Yuck Yucks in Mississauga.
How did it go?
It was fine, but I'm practicing. I'm going on tour with Just for Laughs in April, and then
that's sick, dude.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And then
is that across Canada?
No, I'm doing just Ontario with Just for Laughs, and then I do across Canada on my own tour where I'm doing my hour-long act.
Wait, you're doing another tour?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, sorry. Please get to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm writing new material for that because I don't want the people who came to my show last year,
like me.
Yeah, to go like, yeah, I heard these jokes already. So I'm like writing furiously. So I'll go to Mississauga, and so I'm the headline act, except I'm doing almost entirely new jokes, some of which I wrote that day.
Oh wow!
Which is, I think, a terribly disappointing show. If you spend $20, you bring out your lady on a date, you get some food and stuff. You're $100 in, and then you're like, really, new jokes.
But it doesn't mean they're not funny, though.
Oh yeah. But it's not like my polished act. But
right.
I was like, yeah, sorry guys.
So you're like you're taking a page out of Louis C.K. where he's like does a new hour every year, and he just like, and I think that he starts when he does a new hour, he'll start with his closing joke for his new act.
Right.
Or so like, and just to like get it out there. But I know it's like other comedians like Louis C.K. is crazy because the amount of work that takes and where you have to go in your mind to come up with this new material is like, it's so hard. It's like if you're a baseball pitcher, like coming up with a new pitch every year. Like, hey, there's a version of the fastball, and there's a new version of the curveball, here the knuckleball, the screwball. Like, you have to just come up with new stuff.
Right, you just run out of ideas. Like, how many stories can I tell? Yeah, it's a hard thing, and I mean, Louis C.K. is the best at it. But it's crazy. Like, usually you take a comic, even if you write really fast, take you like 6 months to put together 20 minutes. It's very nice. And he's doing 60 minutes in a year, and then continuously.
Yeah.
Usually you just write and you're like, I put this new 20 in the middle of my act, and then I'm good for 2 years, and then I'll write another 6 minutes in 2017.
Chris Rock said that it takes him, he does a special, I think, every 3 years to get 90 minutes. And that dude is like easily on Louis C.K.'s level and was there before, but like that's how difficult it is for Chris Rock to do. So Louis C.K. is like
one of the greatest of all time.
Right,
it takes 3 years to do what Louis C.K. does every year. Yeah.
I remember a story you told me about Chris Rock, and this goes back to like, I want to say like 10 years ago that you just went to, did you go to New York by yourself when you saw Chris Rock at the Apollo?
No, that's not my story.
No, it's your story. I'm telling you. Okay, you told me that you went to, or maybe I'm mixing you up with somebody else, but I'm pretty sure it came from you, Darrin. It was, you went to see Chris Rock at the Apollo, and Ray Romano opened for Chris Rock.
Oh, no, that's not my story.
That's not you?
No.
I've been telling the story for friggin' like 8 years that it was you.
Oh, really?
Oh, man.
I hope in the story,
you're a liar.
I am best friends with Ray Romano and Chris Rock. I hope in the story is like, and then I was in the green room. And then Ray Romano was just like, hey, you got any Molly? And I was like, why do you always ask me that every time I see you, Ray? You got to calm down.
I swear that came from you, man. I thought that was, because the point of the thing was Ray Romano just told wife and kids jokes and he killed. I thought that was you.
Well, I know that story. I may have told that story, but I didn't experience it.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's, and I just.
But yeah, that's I think like Ray Romano used to kill in front of Chris Rock, which is crazy. And also I probably used to talk about how like two of the all-time killers at the Nubian night at Yuck Yucks here in Toronto are Jerry D and Jason Rouse,
who are both white. Who you guys don't know who who Jerry D is. Obviously, you've seen him on CBC and stuff. Jason Rouse, who's like the dirtiest comic I've ever heard.
The dirtiest, most objectionable comic on earth, and he's like super death metal. Like he's got like ice grills, like spacers in his ears, like 35 like ram skull rings. Yeah.
So okay, so Nubian Night is like, it's a staple of Toronto. It's every Sunday at the end of the month. There's the Yuck Yucks downtown. How many people sit in that? How many?
I think 280.
280. So close to 300 people pack this room, and it's like, it's not a very forgiving room. But if you win over the room, they'll love you, but it's a tough room. And Jerry D and Jason Rouse, I've never seen them on Nubian Night, but I know they're killers.
Well, it's crazy to see people kill on Nubian Night because like guys are like slapping the walls and if you like really murdered, like you come off stage and there's like 280 people like doing like gunshots in the air. Like, whoa, that's really killing. That's way better than a standing ovation. The 280 people. Thank you.
It's I don't know why. Like I'm not sure why. But why we're so animated when we laugh. I'm one of those dudes. I slap my knee like when I go to parties and I'm feeling the music. I'm the dude banging on the wall. Right. Like I'm that guy. I'm just a rhino. But it's
a rhino.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why that. I don't know how we got that in our DNA, but we're very loud and abrasive and obnoxious. But I guess to get that kind of response must be. I'm sure have you performed at Nubian Night?
I haven't done Nubian Night. I've done other all black shows.
And where? In the city?
Yeah, in like North Toronto.
Oh, okay.
This is a long time ago, but like did well, and it's very exciting because it's just it's just so much more demonstrative than just a normal audience that's all kind of people. Like everyone just kind of looks at each other like, we're gonna lose our if this is good, right? It looks like a private deal in the parking lot to out freak out each other. Like, well, that's the best.
So you're going on tour Just for Laughs in April, and then you're doing your own. So do you know the name of the new tour? Because I got to experience Chasing Manhood. I saw the last show in Toronto, which was awesome, and I love the anecdotes about your pops and your brother. Daryl is his real name, but I don't know him as Rodney.
Right? Yeah. I only call him Rodney. Yeah.
Which is a great show. So do you have the name for the new one, and when will you start the new tour?
The new one starts May 3rd. I think it starts May 3rd, and I go from Victoria to Charlottetown. But the tour name is called Still Chasing Manhood, which I called it that because I realized I wasn't going to write a whole new hour. So I'll take, the top 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the Chasing Manhood show, and then add like 35 minutes.
So wait, you're not really getting your Louis C.K. on, you cheater.
I'm getting like a half Louis C.K. on. I'm getting like a Louis C.
You get like a Louis.
It's like a Louis, yeah.
Like a Louis without the S.
And also, like, the difference between, one of the many, many differences between Louis C.K. and I is when he goes on tour, he plays to, 5,000 people a night, 2,500 people a night. I do not. So I'm like, wasted all these jokes. I'm going to throw them out. I'm like, I could show these to like 2,000 more people. So I'll take the new half of the show I'm going to do is mostly taking aim at my mother this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Has she? Oh boy, how is she going to feel about that?
Well, what happened was in my normal act, I never talk about my mom. It's all about my dad and my brother, and sort of me fitting in with them. And failing to do so, but what happened was
because your dad never listened to Nas.
He would never listen to Nas. Is that a bridge in the gap?
Yes. Yeah. Nice.
So my mom years ago, I did a show and I told all these jokes about my mom. And she did not like it.
Oh, really?
Like,
she was in the crowd to watch.
She was in the crowd. She was
wow.
there. And I thought, how am I going to tell her that I wrote these, make sure it's cool? And I'm like, I'll just do them all in front of her. And I did like 10 minutes on my mom. And she was like, she didn't tell me directly. She phones my brother, who then phones me. Like, listen, Mom doesn't want you to do jokes about her. And I was like, fine. So I just, this whole act. But now, like, I'm on TV all the time, and my mom's friends, see me on TV telling jokes at Just for Laughs, all this kind of stuff. And they're like, how come he never mentions you? How come you're not?
Oh.
And so my mom goes to me like last year. She's like, it would be okay if you wanted to write some jokes.
Mom wants a little attention. Mom wants a little love on TV.
She wants a little shine now that her friends are watching.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. So, so Still Chasing Manhood starts. What was the date on that again?
It starts May 3rd.
May 3rd.
The whole month of May.
So you're going, this time, first time you went east to west. Now you're going west to east.
Actually, I don't even know the routing, but I play like Victoria, Vancouver, Whistler, Calgary, a couple places I'm not allowed to say.
Sure. Why?
Because Just for Laughs put a little embargo on some of my dates.
Okay.
Because I'm playing some of the same places, and they don't want people to not go to their show because they want to come to my show.
Right. Okay.
So we had like a little agreed thing there.
Jerks.
And then I play Montreal and Charlottetown.
Okay. But there are some. But there may or may not be a date in the province of Saskatchewan or the province of Manitoba?
Oh, no, it's just Ontario I'm not allowed to talk about.
Oh,
I play
okay.
Winnipeg. I play Winnipeg.
Okay.
But I don't play Saskatchewan. I tried.
They,
I just couldn't find a room that was like available on the dates I needed on sort of the
dude, go to a bingo hall. They own that culture, son. I don't know anything about
Just show up with a bucket of pierogies at the bingo hall, be like, I'm the king of Saskatchewan,
and about a carton of smokes.
Yeah,
and maybe even like a respirator, because I'm sure those rooms just like it's instant cancer.
Yeah, and also be sure to like just have your whole face in green and white for the Rough Riders.
Yes.
People are crazy there.
They really are, man.
If you go to a shoe store in Regina, they just have like the score of the last game posted on the wall, and like. It's crazy. Things that are unrelated. You go to the post office, like, you want a jersey? Like, why do you sell jerseys here?
You go to Canadian Tire, you can buy a watermelon, which they put watermelon helmets there. I don't know how it started,
really?
But in real life, it's a thing in Saskatchewan where people wear watermelons on their heads as helmets. I'm not going to question the intelligence of the people that live in Regina or in Saskatoon, but that is part of the culture of that part of Canada.
Wow, that's another way to go.
It really is. I'm here with Darrin Rose, so you watched the Super Bowl.
I did watch the Super Bowl,
and I was reading your tweet. It's like Twitter is like the greatest. Twitter's like the greatest room in any big live event, whether it's the Oscars, the Grammys, the Super Bowl, was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
How did you experience the Super Bowl? And, like, where were you and all that sort of thing?
Oh, I was just watching it at my house because I don't know anything about football at all. And I was just
you just lost a lot of man points. I mean, you make them up because you're really funny, but if you don't know anything about football, it's like not knowing how to drive.
All I know about is chicks. What an unlikable thing to say. No, I don't know. I know a little bit about football, and I know like the big storylines, and I know kind of the bigger teams and stuff like that. And I read Bill Simmons, so I know a lot about the Patriots. But like my knowledge of the Patriots wildly outstrips my knowledge of all the other teams in the NFL.
Yeah, well, that would happen just by reading friggin' Bill Simmons.
Yeah. But it's just like self-selecting just one source of information. Like I'm only gonna know about the Rough Riders. But the Super Bowl is fun. I was just like tweeting along with it. Now, of course, the highlight of the Super Bowl was Beyonce.
Oh my gosh!
And by the Super Bowl, I mean my life. Oh my God! When she does that thing where she looks at the camera, she like licks her finger and like drags it down her chest. Oh my God!
And then like she starts just the silhouette for like 30 seconds, and the smoke and the lights behind her, the hair blowing. It just looks so high. Just see the silhouette of her curves.
I felt like when we went to see The Matrix Reloaded. Do you remember that? We all went.
Yeah, like 9 of us or whatever.
Yeah, like 9 of us went, and it was like, because The Matrix changed everything, and then the new movie was coming out, and we anticipated for like 2 years.
Yes.
And I was sitting down, and I was sitting with Henderson, our buddy, and he looks at me and goes, I don't think we're ready for this. That's how I felt when Beyonce was standing there in the silhouette. I was like, oh my God. This is going to change everything I knew.
Yes, Henderson. That's awesome. I love when Beyonce, when she laid down, I'm like, why is she laying down? And then it goes to the overhead shot, and then the screens are the stage. I'm like, this is unreal.
It was crazy. When she laid down, I was like, why? To make my dreams come true? It was so amazing. And also, what was that outfit she was wearing?
I don't know. It was like half leather, and then like underneath you could see like there was some skin, but it was I read
it was
later
like a lacy portion.
Yeah, it was like and I don't know. It was hot. Like I'd never seen that before. And then she has like 9-inch heels, and she's doing all these moves. She drops down, just does the bootylicious shake.
Her outfit was made of less fabric than my shoes are. It was amazing. It was just like a V and lace and dreams.
How good did Kelly Rowland look, though? She was trying to upstage Beyonce. Like she was bad. Like she looked amazing.
Kelly Rowland came out so strong.
Yes.
And it made you go, wow, poor Michelle.
Oh, yeah. Michelle.
I was like, man, a gospel record, hey? She looks like somebody who released a gospel record.
Yes, because she hasn't been eating off the money.
She
from
has
that friggin'
not been eating.
From that album. Like, no album sales is directly related to her diet. Because Michelle Williams is like 87 pounds. That album maybe moved 87 units.
Yeah. She got $1 a unit.
Yeah.
She's like, can you just pay me in like canned beans? I need to make it last.
Man, that was, and I guess it was cool to see them on stage, but like, they just got like the melody of independent women. They didn't even get like a half a verse of their own parts or whatever. I don't even remember the whole
I thought
song.
It would have been nice if Beyonce turned their mics on. But I mean, I guess she's only so giving.
That's right.
She's like, you can be on the TV, but no one can hear you. And Kelly Rowland's just like, I'm going to look fierce.
Oh, man, and she succeeded. Yeah. What'd you think of Alicia Keys on the, did you get to see the Star-Spangled Banner?
No, I tuned in exactly like right after it ended, and they were like, and that's Alicia Keys, and I was like, what?
Dude, it was like 3 minutes long. Oh. It was impressive. She was...
Alicia Keys is amazing, although I do disagree with her new haircut.
You don't like the short hair?
It's too momish.
You know, you make a good point.
If you're Swizz Beatz, like the day she came home with that, you're like, check out my hair. You're like, oh. You could feel Swizz Beatz go like, I'm probably going to cheat on you. That's the I give up haircut. Just like, can you just take it like really short at the side so it's easy in the morning? All right, stop being convenient.
Yeah. Did it make you, it's funny you say that, because that haircut reminds you that Alicia Keys is a mom. Beyonce didn't look like a mom at all.
No, like Beyonce obliterated the term MILF. Doesn't mean anything anymore.
Oh man,
now it's just WILF, just a woman.
Just the F.
Yeah, it's just the F.
Just the F.
Just the F.
So Alicia Keys did her Star-Spangled, and like there are always these prop bets, and it's usually about a minute. The bet is whether or not the Star-Spangled Banner will come under a minute and 35.
Right.
Kelly Clarkson a couple years, hers clocked at $1.30, minute 30.
Right.
And I believe there was I can't remember, Natalie Cook, I think, did her Star-Spangled Banner in like the mid-90s. Hers was like a minute 52. Alicia Keys like 2:56, like just smashed that record.
I like it.
Yeah. I said, you mentioned Swizz Beatz. The dude was on the sideline wearing headphones, like wearing his headphones. I was like, you're at the friggin' Super Bowl, man. You know you're not listening to any friggin' music. I know you want to promote your friggin'
Does he have a brand of headphones?
Yeah, I think so.
So embarrassing.
It was just like, come on, man. Are you joking? Like, somebody slapped that dude, man. Like, how'd you get a pass if you're on the field, man? I said, like, there's a picture of him and Alicia Keys, like, and then like afterwards she's in a golf cart being carted away, and he's got these dumb headphones. I'm like, we have to do better, man. Like, you have to, like, come on, man. You know it's not for the explosions when they score touchdowns. You're just trying to, I just want to punch him there.
And also, he's probably like, what, like 10 years too late on that? Because you really want to capitalize on your fame if you're going to sell a branded product.
You're right.
Like, no one would be talking about Swizz Beatz if he wasn't married to like one of the top 5 hottest women on earth.
You're right. Like if it was 02, then yeah, that we understand that.
Yeah.
The commerce behind that, but yeah, it's like 2013. Like everybody's trying, not everybody, but a few guys are trying with some level of success, I suppose, to get new headphones to wear.
The desire for people to copy in the hip hop branding game is so shocking.
Agreed.
Like oh, Jay's got a vodka. Oh, I'm gonna get a vodka.
Right.
Like Diddy wants to get a vodka, and then Dre has headphones. So then they're like everyone else.
50 Cent got headphones, and I remember when was Jay the first to have sneakers? Like when he had the S Carters.
Right, and then 50 got the sneakers right after that.
Yeah, and then Yeezy, as we were just talking about earlier, he has his own kicks.
Yeah, and then 50 did vitamin water, and like Cameron released Syrup.
How did that do, Cameron? How'd that do, Killer Cam?
Cameron has a garage full of cases of Syrup. If you go to his house, he's like, hey, you want like a vodka and Syrup? No, I'm not really drinking. You want like Syrup in your tea? Just trying to get rid of it.
Oddly enough, he has like a storage, like a storage trailer of just Rasta Monster as well. I don't know how he got it, but he went in on that too, because he's like, yo, Mark Wahlberg did Entourage. He's doing How to Make It in America. I'm in on that, son. I'm in on that. And all the product that was in How to Make It in America, Cameron now has in a storage locker somewhere.
He also signed Saigon. So,
what happened to Saigon?
I don't know. Well, it turns out maybe being on Entourage isn't the best cosign for a hip-hop artist.
Dude, do you know that? Okay, that's fair. But do you know that Avion is an actual tequila? I've seen Avion in bars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I thought it was just a made-up vodka. Like, they make up a bunch of stuff in TV shows. But it's a real vodka. I haven't tried it, but
I wonder if they made it up, like, after the fact.
I don't know.
I bet we could cash in on this.
Yeah, well, it's not a bad idea. I mean, it was in a bar, so presumably somebody's drinking it.
Right.
Just maybe not us. Maybe somebody out there, one of our listeners, some guy in friggin' Arizona is like, man, I'm all over that, dude. That was stupid. That was a dumb voice.
We should come. You did give your hypothetical listener like a really terrible one.
Oh, man, I'm sorry for that guy in Arizona. Sorry, buddy.
We should come up with a vodka.
What when the game blacked out, I imagine you were experiencing it similar to myself. I'm watching the game, but I'm on my phone. And I'm just going through Twitter and like
I'm just on my iPad, just scrolling through, refresh, yeah.
And you made a comment to me a long time ago. I'm here in studio with Darrin Rose, who can be seen in Mr. D and on Match Game on the Comedy Network. But we were talking, and you made a comment about comedy and comedians, and you said there are some people who are like in the kitchen funny, and then. And being in the kitchen funny or in the living room funny is much different than being on stage funny. Right. And that was an important distinction for me in my mind about funny. Now, when Twitter's involved, it's like it's almost like this unwritten competition to see who could have the best line in the room. The room being on Twitter about said event.
The room is like the world.
You're right. And like there are so many amazing jokes about the obviously the blackout, there were, and it just took like seconds. So how long, if you can remember, did it take you to write your first joke or your first line about the blackout once the blackout happened? Do you remember?
It took me too long to do a Bane joke.
Oh, that Bane joke was amazing.
The Bane joke was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta look for it.
Well, I follow almost all comics. So my whole thing is just jokes. So you follow like sports guys and all kinds of people.
Yeah.
I follow almost exclusively comics. So it happened, and then immediately it was like 11 Bane jokes.
Oh, okay, yeah,
like everybody, and also I follow a lot of nerds, like that intersection of like nerds and comics. So they're like, I was born for this moment.
So you follow our friend Nigel Downer.
Yes.
On Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Right
Who's
at the
funny
intersection
and
of
he's
nerd
a nerd.
and jokes. Yeah.
So
Nigel is one of the only adults I know who still has action figures in the box in his room. You go in his bedroom where he tries to have sex with women, and there's like a little like Captain America watching, and it's so embarrassing. I go in there, I'm like, hey, can I just throw my coat on your bed? Come on, man. You bring girls in here, and he's like, yep, they don't mind. I'm like, they probably do.
So the first Bane joke that I saw was by Will Leach, who was one of the founders of Deadspin. He's like, holy shit, you guys, here comes Bane. And like, I'm just gonna click on it now. That had 5,000 retweets.
Right.
And your line, and I retweeted one of yours, was, I bet the 49ers wish this happened a minute and 38 seconds ago, which was a great line. I saw that and it made me laugh out loud. I'm like, and I couldn't get like a good line out fast enough. It took me like 3 minutes, and I was probably like 2 minutes and 30 seconds too late for my line was like about Beyonce shutting the power down, which is just like that's like a 2 out of 10 on the funny scale.
I just be so self-critical.
Yeah, I just wish it was funnier.
But it is a weird kind of like something like that happens, and everyone goes, "I gotta say something."
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a weird sort of impulse for 200,000 people to go, "I better get a joke out in the next 30 seconds."
Yeah, it really is a competition. Like,
yeah,
and then you're following, and they're like, "Oh, that guy stole my line," but I wish I
like he beat me there.
Yeah, beat me there. Yeah. So they're. So what was it? That was your line, right? The minute
and 38 seconds. Yeah. Because I was looking at the clock and it was like 13:22, and I was like, oh my god, with like just like their whole world came apart, and then they're just like, oh, you guys deserve a break.
So, so how many was that? Is that the first football game you watched this year, Or in the past few years? Like,
not in the past few years. That's probably the first game I think probably the first game I watched this year. Like, start to finish. Or sometimes I'll watch like a half a game in a bar or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not a big football guy. I'm a big basketball guy, but football to me is like, I don't know what they're doing.
Really, dude? Like, come on, man.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I mean, I understand the general principles involved, but I don't know, like,
I'm firing myself as a friend of yours because I haven't imparted any sort of, I don't want to say, I dare say wisdom, but any of the nuances of the game of football that you should know.
Well, I remember at one point one of the announcers was like, "Oh yeah, as everybody knows, the Niners are going to run a drop 2 offense in the red zone here," and I was like, "I don't know any of that." And he started it with "as everyone knows." And I was like, I need to get like it on a different channel. You know how they have like Spanish announcers and Punjabi announcers? Yeah. I need the junior football announcers.
That's not a bad call. Like, not football for dummies, but like just like level 1.
Yeah, I could use a level 1. Like, I don't understand. Like, so I mean, I understand the general principle. I understand how like the points work and stuff like that. But I don't know like different kinds of coverage for different types of offense and that sort of thing. Like the sort of chess game bits of it.
Yeah.
Like if you're Bill Belichick, like I don't know what he's thinking ever.
No, none of us do because he's wearing a hood and he looks like he's having the most miserable time. But his team will be up 52-7.
Here's what I think Bill Belichick is thinking: I hope my arms look good all the time. It's his only thought. It's crazy that he's so successful as a coach that's his only thought. But.
You know what's also cool about Belichick is when he goes to Celtics games. I've been to 2 Celtics games where Bill Belichick has been in attendance with his dope wife or girlfriend. He gets so much love. Like I've seen a standing ovation. They just show Bill Belichick on the Jumbotron. They lose their minds for that dude.
Really?
In Boston.
He's
Absolutely.
the Barack Obama of Boston.
He really is. Okay, so in New Orleans, Justin Timberlake was performing at some party, and he did Suit and Tie, his new song with Jay-Z, and I think Questlove was tweeting about it. He's got his new record, 2020, comes out on March the 20th, and part of the album release is a documentary. And actually, Beyonce is releasing a documentary, I believe, this month on HBO. Excited. Will you watch the Beyonce one?
You said that like with you. Like, will you watch that?
Oh
one
yeah,
with me?
no. It wasn't, you can. 2 grown men on a couch watching Beyonce. There's nothing wrong with that. One of the more weirder experiences I've had with. I watched The Bachelor Canada, the first episode with one of my boys, my boy Joel Ward. 2 grown ass men eating popcorn out of the same bowl, watching The Bachelor Canada. So watching Beyonce wouldn't be a stretch from The Bachelor.
Right.
2 grown men sharing that hour of gripping television.
Right. Well, in a 700 channel world, it's so hard to find something to watch.
And it's so hard to find good company these days. So okay, so the Timberlake.
Right.
Are you a fan of the documentaries about musicians? You personally?
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think musicians have an interesting story to tell for the most part, and I like that sort of come up story. I never watched the Justin Bieber one, but I
heard that was great though.
I did hear it was great, which shocked me. Jerry D told me he was like, it's really good.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, you're what? But like the Tribe Called Quest one, did you watch that one?
Oh yes, yeah.
So
Beats Rhymes.
good.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's a great one.
That was great, and I just feel like this is less true now. But I remember when I was younger, you always just wanted to know more about musicians because you had such a small amount of information available to you. You just had the songs and whatever you could project from that song onto the person singing it.
Right.
Like, oh, he seems sad there, or like, oh, she seems like maybe she wants to marry me, or like whatever. You know what I mean? But you didn't have, there wasn't as much, you could get magazines, but it wasn't like this unending stream of coverage that you have now. So, I mean, I like documentaries from that point of view where you get to see kind of what's their life like outside of that 3.5 minutes that I really enjoy.
Right. I think this one is kind of, this one focuses on the making of this new record, which is like 7 years since his last record, Future Sex Love Sounds. Or Love Songs, either way, I can't remember. But though I really enjoy those types of documentaries where they're making a certain album, like it takes me back to Jay-Z's Fade to Black,
Right.
when you get to see Jay-Z's process. He flies to L.A. be Rick Rubin when Rick Rubin's producing 99 Problems, and then Mike D's just there.
Right.
And it's like, it's amazing. And then Rick Rubin's talking about Jay-Z's process and all that sort of thing.
I would have loved to watch Watch the Throne.
Oh, I think they did make a documentary about it.
Did they? Because I read a lot about it.
I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's a 90-minute version. I saw a 10-minute clip on like Vimeo or something, and they just, for no reason, I was telling my girl the other day, for no reason, they just made the record in Australia. No reason. Why would they do that? Because they're kings of Earth.
Right.
And they like the next record they're going to make at the International Space Station.
Yeah.
Like for no reason. Or they're just making it at Richard Branson's island in the middle of the Pacific.
Right.
For no reason. Just rent the island for, 6 months.
Yeah, they'll borrow James Cameron little submarine there at the bottom of the Marianas Trench.
They're gonna go make the record in Avatar, wherever Avatar took place. How many times a day do people say you look like Jason Sudeikis?
Constantly. It's crazy.
I'm here with Darrin Rose. Dude, when you were in Los Angeles, did anybody mistake you for Sudeikis?
Well, what I realized is people in America are friendly, right? And I was just telling
Wait, are you being sarcastic or are you being serious?
No, I'm being serious.
Okay.
I think people in America are genuinely friendly. Like, I feel Canadians are very nice, but they're more standoffish than Americans.
You don't think that's just here in Toronto?
Oh, maybe that's just here. Yeah, certainly out east, Canadians are very nice. Out west, they're a little bit standoffish. They're friendlier, like in bars. Like Calgary's a very easy place to just talk to people.
Right, agreed.
So it does change, but I think Americans are just willing to engage with somebody. Like if you're in line to pay for something in America, the guy behind you will talk to you. Like they always just want to talk. They're always just like so. I think they're more likely to engage strangers. But I was telling my buddy, I'm like, oh my God, everyone here is so friendly. And I had just started going to the States. I didn't spend a lot of time there. And he's like, yeah, people in LA, they're real friendly. And then we walk down the street and he goes, oh no, I don't get that. And I realized everyone thinks I'm Jason Sudeikis because I'm walking the streets of Hollywood, and why wouldn't it be Jason Sudeikis?
That's true.
Like we're at the Chateau Marmont having drinks. It seems like a thing Jason Sudeikis might do.
Too bad Olivia Wilde hasn't confused you for Jason Sudeikis.
I know. I'm spending a lot of time sort of loitering at
where she might be.
She'd be like, honey, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know. Let's just make out. I just had to come see you. And anyway, here, I brought this blanket.
Want to just jump in my rented Toyota and just go back to your place?
Yeah, it's a Corolla. It's a Corolla. I borrowed it off of some. Anyway, those are all details. Yeah, why does my voice sound different? Too many questions. Too many shirts.
Let's just get back to the making out part. So Darrin, when you were in I think the last time I saw you were in LA. Was it
that might be the last time I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, we went at the Grove, we ate some shawarmas or something like
that.
Right,
yeah.
And you were out there for pilot season, and you were being seen by all these casting directors, etc. What was that experience like, man?
It's crazy. Pilot season is crazy. Norm Macdonald says this great thing, which I always repeat. He said he had to go to the States because we don't have show business in Canada. And we don't. They're just. I have the good fortune to have 2 jobs on television, and still way more people think I'm Jason Sudeikis. And that's fine. But I mean, I'm hogging most of the jobs in Canada. Like, there's just not a lot of opportunities to be on television. Certainly not in the movies. So you go down there, and in Canada, I go auditioning all the time. I was going out like 3 times a day, 4 times a day to be the lead in a sitcom for like 5-6 weeks. Like, it was crazy. It was just like I never encountered anything like it.
How did you memorize all that text?
With varying degrees of success. But
sometimes
it wasn't good.
Did you ever have a really bad audition?
I had a really bad audition. I did a producer callback for the Mindy Project. You know that show? Mindy Kaling's show.
Like her show?
Her show.
You auditioned for that show?
Yeah.
And that was your worst audition? Oh,
yeah,
that sucks.
It was terrible, and it was with Mindy Kaling.
Oh my! She was acting with you in the.
She wasn't acting with me.
But she was in the
watching
room.
Me.
Oh no, dude!
And when you audition in LA, the rooms are very small. Like in Canada, you audition in like an auditorium, and the casting director and the guy reading with you is like 25 feet away from you. In LA, it's like the size of the room we're in right now, which is like we're in a little radio studio. It's probably like 6 by 10 or something.
Yeah.
And so I go into this room. It's the callbacks. I've already done one audition, and now it's the producers. But she's a producer of her show, So it's her and a guy who looked like he made an enormous amount of money. And then,
Chuck Lorre?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the casting director who's reading with me and the camera guy. And we're all just crammed in this space, and I'm closer to Mindy Kaling than you and I are now.
And we're sitting probably like 3 feet apart.
Yeah. So we're almost touching knees, and I was like, and I love Mindy Kaling. I knew who Mindy Kaling was 10 years ago. I went to see her show. She wrote a play called Matt and Ben about how Ben Affleck and Matt Damon probably didn't write Good Will Hunting.
Wow.
And I saw that play like 10 years ago or 8 years ago or something. And I had read her book, and I was like, so I go into this audition, and it's my first audition with somebody famous. I have sat in waiting rooms with famous people, which is nerve-wracking as well. But it's my first audition, and I'm like, just be cool about this. Don't be like, oh, I read your book, it's so funny. And, I love Man Pen. And because it seems like you're begging for the job or something. Right. You try to curry favor. So I was like, all right, just try to be cool. I say hi to the casting director, say hi to the really rich guy. And then I say hi to Mindy Kaling. And she's like, hi, how are you? And I was just like, it's a real pleasure.
Oh.
And then I just held it too long because I was trying not to go like, oh, I really like you. So I'm just like, she's looking at me and I'm looking at her, but nothing's happening. And she's like, you gotta let go of my hand.
Oh man. Oh man. I'm feeling I'm feeling this in my body right now.
It was so awful. And then, she's just like, all right, yeah, it's nice to meet you too. Okay. And I was like, oh, how's it going? And she just didn't answer. And I was like, oh God, this is over. But then I still had to do the audition.
Oh man, dude, I'm dying inside for you.
It was
right now.
the worst. I was like, I didn't even look at her when I left. I was just like, I just gotta go. This is so embarrassing.
Oh,
how do I, it's just so you meet famous people all the time. Have you ever embarrassed yourself in front of somebody?
Yeah. Yeah. One time I spit gum into Steve Nash's lap. Yeah, that was the most embarrassing.
I was hoping that the final word there was going to be mouth. The worst interview imaginable.
Oh my gosh, he would have license to punch me in the face if I did that.
Oh, totally.
Like for sure, you would be like, I'd be like, Steve, you know what? Give me one right in the nose.
Yeah. You would take it, get up off the floor, and be like, "Good note, Steve." What did he do? You spit gum in his lap,
dude, and it landed right in the center, remember at carnivals and whack-a-mole, the groundhogs come up, it was like the gum was right on the groundhog's head. And oh man, it was
on the groundhog's head.
You know how when you're really embarrassed you just get hot? It starts from the neck, your neck bone or your collarbone, just flush all it. I was getting so hot. I'm like, and he's looking, so he looks at me, and then he looks down at his crotch, and he's looking at the gum just sitting right there, and he looks back at me, and he looks back at his pants. He's like, did you just spit gum onto my crotch? And every second feels like 7 years, and I am dying. I am emulsifying on the inside, and then there's the moment how am I going to get the gum out of his lap?
Right.
Because I can't just reach into his lap and grab the gum.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing this stupid cowboy hat, and I'm trying.
What's happening in the background of this story?
So quick background is I'm in Houston for the NBA All-Star Game, and I'm doing a bit on why Texas is considered the biggest state.
Okay.
So, or why everything in Texas is considered the biggest. So I take off the hat, and I'm trying to swat the gum out of his lap, and I just keep hitting the whack-a-mole. And it's 100 points, 200 points, and it's not freaking. I'm like, oh, this is awful, and it's full brim of the hat flush, boom, boom. Finally, it ricochets, and I just left the room. I just left. It was just
it's hard to look a man in the face after you've given him a hat job.
Easily the most embarrassing moment of my professional career. I hope that I never surpass that moment. But
it's the hitting it with the hat. That's so funny.
Dude. And it was probably a good 4 or 5 swats at it. Man, that was awful.
I'm embarrassed just hearing this. I wasn't even there. I'm just
and in the room, you're in your experience, your room was 4 or 5 people. The room, there was 60 people in that room. including 11 other NBA like Western Conference All-Stars. Man, so yeah, that was.
But those guys, like, they know who you are and stuff. Like Steve Nash isn't
Steve
like.
did, yeah. Steve knew who I was, but it still doesn't excuse it. Like I don't think it made him.
You have to know a guy really well before you just like, nah, just give it another couple of whacks and then we'll do the interview. Like you got to know a guy for years.
Yeah. So that was my thing. So you were in Los Angeles for a little bit auditioning, and now you're on Jerry D's show, the second year of Jerry D's show. Sorry, it's called Mr. D on CBC, and you're doing Match Game. What did the Jerry D project come first, and did you have to audition for that one?
For Jerry D's show, yeah, Mr. D I had to audition for. We did like 5 rounds.
5 auditions?
Yeah.
Holy crap, man. That's a lot. That's like, usually it's like audition, call back, get the job.
Yeah. And it was 5 rounds, and then I'd see like new people in each round, and then like and also I found out after the fact, after I got the job, Jerry was like, yeah, I really didn't want you. Because Jerry's crazy, and he'll just tell you what he thinks. Like,
was he being serious?
Oh, totally.
So wait, the other producers were the ones that vouched for you? The ones that hired you? Or
the head writer, the showrunner, Brent Piaskowski, and then the CBC liked me. Those 2 people liked me, and then Jerry didn't. And he told me, I don't know why, I don't know, to undermine my confidence after the fact, I suppose. And then ultimately, Jerry's wife convinced him.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll tell her, she's like, oh no, you should use him. He's like, I don't want. She's like, no, the show needs somebody good looking. And he was like, I'm right. She's like, no, but like for young people.
Another kick to the groin with metal boots. Oh, that's awesome. That's really funny.
Yeah. So I would not tell that story except for it starts with the fact that Jerry didn't even want me on the show. So I feel like I have a little license to.
So you guys shoot it in Nova Scotia over the summertime.
Right, in Halifax.
I love that, like, wait, do you get to, like, make out with any chicks? Because your character is, like, the fun, like, I don't know which part of the in Freud's,
the id. I'm
id.
all id.
You're all id. Okay, yeah. You know where I was going with it. It's id, superego, and ego.
Yeah.
The characterizations of our minds, I guess, or our wants and desires, whatever the thing is. I'm not a very smart person, but you get to be all id. Do you get to make out with any chicks this season?
I like the confession that you're not a smart person as you're discussing Freud. Anyway, let me just insert Freud into this TSN podcast. Anyway, I think it really goes back to Kierkegaard. When he,
not Caligula?
Yeah.
Stupid.
No, I think Caligula is the model for my character.
Oh, amazing.
When they're just like, how many people could Bill sleep with in a season? And so I just make out with girls all the time. There's constantly the season 2 opened.
Wait, but the one where you bring the 2 girls back to the house,
right.
That's episode 2 or episode 3, where it starts there.
Right.
Did you get to make out with those girls?
Those girls I did not get to make out with.
Talk to the producers.
I know. But every episode they just hire a new hot girl to hang off of me. Like once we shot this scene where I'm laying on the couch with this girl, and the girl is just laying on me. She doesn't do anything. She just has to lay on my chest. And then Jerry's like, hey, get up. I got to talk to you. And then we go to another room and talk. And it's just, a new girl. But they're kind of running out of girls in Halifax. Who, just like
small
the
town
hot girl on the show.
Right.
And because I'm using them 2 and 3 at a time, it's not like one scene where I dance with 4 girls at once.
The Bachelorette scene?
Right, at the Bachelorette party.
Yeah.
So they call this girl comes in and she shows up to set and they were like, no, you are 17 years old.
Was she actually?
She lied about her age to get the job. No. And they were like, no, you can't. We can't have like a 17-year-old laying on a grown man in our CBC show. It's too.
Wow.
So they had to send her home, and then they just phoned girls, and they're like, whoever gets here first gets the job. And so this girl shows up, and then like 3 seconds later, another girl shows up on a bike.
Come on.
Covered in paint. She was painting her house.
Come
and
on.
Just jumps off her bike onto the set. She's like, did I make it? They're like, oh, somebody beat you by like a minute.
Oh my goodness! But we have some varnish in the back. You can wipe off your face.
Yes.
Or not varnish, paint remover.
Turpentine.
Turpentine, yes.
Yeah, so she just had to get back on her bike and go back.
Oh my God! But we'll use you next time. We're gonna need more.
We're gonna need more for sure. Yeah. So it's a great job. Yeah, the producers are very kind to me.
That's awesome. So I love your. I've only seen the first 3 episodes of season 2. Episode 4 aired last Wednesday, right?
Oh, okay, right. I'm not sure if it's on 3 or 4. You might be all caught up.
Maybe.
Yeah, or maybe the 4th. Maybe the 4th. Yeah.
So it's Wednesdays at 9. Or
Wednesdays at 8.
Excuse me, Wednesdays at 8 on CBC. It's Mr. D. I love the line. Oh my gosh, it was the bachelor party scene. You had 2 where it made me, and I texted you about them.
Oh, bachelorette parties are for regrets, right?
Yeah,
are all about regrets.
All about regrets. And then the other one was like, this is your last chance, or something.
Right,
like,
last night of freedom.
The last night of freedom. Yeah, they're just well played, just really well done.
I did one of those. They didn't use the take, but I did one scene just doing Eskimo kisses to the girl the whole time. So I'm on the phone, and this girl is not allowed to talk because there's like pay scale. You get paid a different amount, so she has to remain silent and not laugh. But she doesn't know I'm going to do this. I'm just talking, and then I'm just rubbing my nose on her nose and this talking, doing my lines, and she's just like, "What are you doing?" I really wish they'd use that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm with Darrin Rose in studio here. Okay, so speaking of like memorable lines, Kristen Vig is about to join the cast of Anchorman 2.
Right.
Which is just huge.
Yeah.
Kristen Vig, to me, it's like they're the 3 funniest women in Hollywood to me start with Ellen, it goes Tina Fey, and then Kristen Vig. Even though
Ellen, yes.
Do you agree or disagree?
I totally agree. I think Ellen is the best talk show host.
Yeah,
Ellen's amazing. When people talk about like the late night talk show hosts and who should, Jimmy Fallon's going to move and Jimmy
Fallon's going to move?
Well, move into Jay Leno's, like he's going to take the Tonight Show when Jay Leno's done.
Okay, yeah.
And like, Jimmy Kimmel went earlier and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, when is Ellen getting that job? Ellen's the best.
Yeah, Ellen is on. But nobody, she dominates her, like, daytime.
Oh, right. I think,
it's
she's probably the only one.
I think versus Dr. Phil or Dr. Oz.
Right.
That's because Oprah is on her own network and nobody can friggin' find the network. So Ellen, just in that space, just killing it.
Right. There's more people listening to your podcast right now than have watched Oprah's network combined.
Thank you. So Kristen Vig joins Anchorman 2, and Anchorman, by many accounts, is, I'd probably say since Old School, or perhaps it's surpassed Old School as like the most quotable comedy of the last like 15 years. You agree or disagree?
For me, when I go quotable comedies, for the last 15 years, because for me it's still the big 3, which is House Party, Good Will Hunting, and Dirty Dancing. Obviously, the big 3 that everyone agrees on.
Nobody puts Baby in the corner.
I carried a watermelon.
So you know what? Anchorman to me, it's like one of the movies that just grows on you. And then it's just so much funnier, like after like the 8th or 9th viewing.
Yeah, totally.
But I wasn't really sold on it at the beginning.
I didn't like it. The first time I saw it, I was like, why is everyone talking about this?
I'm totally with you. I was more like Old School killed it. Wedding Crashers was funnier.
Yeah.
But I think I quote Old School more than Wedding Crashers, but I don't quote Anchorman myself, but I know a lot of people do. Like, that's the one.
Yeah, love that movie. People quote that movie like they quote The Big Lebowski.
See, that's okay, man, dude. Now I know. That just reaffirms why you're one of my friends. Big Lebowski, to me, that is my favorite comedy of all time.
Oh yeah,
is The Big Lebowski.
Right.
It's just pure genius from start to finish. The line I'm thinking of, I can't really say, and it's about the Jesus. Hey man, when he's talking to John Goodman. Hey man, I heard you pulled out a gun last week. You try that on me, I'll snatch it out of your hand, shove it up your man, and pull the trigger till the gun goes click. Like in the way that Turturro does it, so awesome. Anyway,
Turturro's amazing. Hold on, you can't swear on this podcast?
I try not to.
Like 30 times.
No, you've sworn once.
Oh, you counted.
Yeah, but right. we won't even hear that part.
Oh, did they beep it out? Or that part's getting edited out?
No, it won't get edited out, but they just won't hear it. It'll just be like it'll sound like a blip.
Oh.
Yeah. I gotta write that moment down so my guy Lawrence can edit that one out.
Oh, is that you're making notes about what you're like? Oh, this part of the podcast is garbage. Cut this out.
No, it's just when the cusses come in.
Right.
So, Kristen Vig, what do you think? What's the movie that you quote most often, if you quote movies?
I don't quote movies that often. Although when I said House Party, that's kind of genuine.
What do you quote?
Yeah,
from House
yeah.
Party?
Ew, dragon breath. My friends and I will still say this. Like if you're talking to a girl you don't want to talk to, my friends and I will still say, "Yo, Bilal, switch again."
I haven't seen that movie in so long, but it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie probably 60 times.
Is that the comedy you've seen the most, you think?
That is probably the comedy I've seen the most because I had it on VHS when I was in high school, and I would just watch it every day because we only had like 2 VHSs. So it's either that or I'd watch The Professional, which is probably the movie I've seen second most.
Nice. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's funny. Like VHS, there's a whole generation of people that don't know what VHSs are.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
I probably still have like 80 at my crib. Do you have any of your VHSs
Really?
still?
No. I just moved in October, so I threw out, I had cassette tapes.
Did you throw those out?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
You threw out Nozomatic?
I did.
No, you didn't. Did you? I know you probably have it on CD or now, like in a
Yeah, well, I have it on my
form.
computer. Yeah. But I remember we went to Cleveland,
Yes.
and Henderson drove, and Nigel from Second City was there as well. And he had a cassette player, so I brought like a plastic bag of cassette tapes.
Right. That's right. And one of them was.
And this was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't like a long time ago.
We went in 2003. It was when we went to Cleveland for the first time, and you called it Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah.
Cleveland,
which I got from Howard the Duck.
Which is a horrendous. My friend who's just said he watched it with his nephews, and he goes, "That movie does not hold up. It was awful." And comedies rarely do, and that one certainly isn't.
Right.
If you had that on VHS, I wouldn't say anything about you torching that movie.
Right.
Throwing that out.
What's your VHS movie that you hold on to that you're like, no, this one is precious?
Wow. I'm trying to picture my rack there.
Well, I guess you're not really going through them on a regular basis. Like,
No.
which one shall I watch tonight?
You know, I watched recently, but it doesn't hold up. Was Nothing to Lose with Martin Lawrence and Tim Robbins. It's just a random.
Oh, right, where
comedy
they're
from the
robbers?
And it's awful. Like,
Is it really?
And the movie's like an hour and 45 minutes. But there's like the scene that I love is like when Giancarlo Esposito and the guy who played who was like the jerk doctor in Scrubs. JT? No, what was that actor's name?
I can picture him, but I don't know.
John
his
C.
name.
McGinley, I think.
JT McGinley?
Jeez.
I don't know.
Anyway, those two guys were the villains in Nothing to Lose, and Martin Lawrence pulls out a gun. He's like, back the flip up, and then the other two guys pull out their guns, and Martin just throws his away. He's like, I'm just kidding. What y'all doing tonight? Like, something he just plays off. That's the only moment that like stands from that movie. But VHS tapes, I think like I have Ace Ventura on VHS, which
right.
I still have it. I mean, I'm like probably like there are probably like 800 people in Canada that still have VHS players.
Right.
And of those 800, I'd say 680 live in retirement homes.
Right.
So for some reason, I'm holding on to VHS tapes. I'm holding on to this BlackBerry I still use. Like, I'm holding on to dead technology, basically, is what I'm saying.
I feel like we're like a year away from, you know how people listen to vinyl now because it's retro and cool?
Right.
Like once VHS has disappeared completely and it's impossible, like you don't even see it in people's houses anymore, then it'll be like a hipster thing to be like, no, I only watch VHS now. It's more legit.
I only tape my shows on, VHS. Yeah, I set my timer.
You can't skip. You have to experience it as the artist wanted you to. Anyway, let's watch Nature Calls, Ace Ventura 2.
Our last bit of convo. Oh wait, tell me about Match Game.
All right.
So like, okay, so you have to do this thing every day, and is any of it scripted, or you just show up and you guys?
We just
other than the questions. Obviously.
The questions are scripted. Everything else is just off the cuff, and it's like wrangling cats. It's
you, Deb, and
me, Deb
Sean,
Giovanni, and Sean Cullen.
Yeah.
Who are both so hilarious. It's crazy. And then 4 other panelists who are all comics. So like Jeanine Garofalo was on, and Colin Mockery, Jeremy Hotz, D.L. Hughley was on.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a ton of people. Yvette Nicole Brown from Community.
Cool.
So there's like tons of people on it, real funny people, but they just all want to yell jokes all the time, and they're drunk.
Oh,
so,
right.
It's so hard. Just like, and we shoot live to tape.
So so you have to like hit your marks. Like there's,
yeah, like there's segments. Like there's always a person off camera counting down how long is left before we got to go to commercial. And sometimes it'll be like, oh, there's 30 seconds, but we're only like halfway through the game.
Oh my god!
Or like that segment. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, people are hammered. That part's fun. People, because we shoot 5 in a day.
Oh my gosh, that's a long day for you, no? And your energy, like, how do you?
Yeah, that's hard. So we shoot 3 in the afternoon, and then we eat dinner, and then we shoot 2 at night. And it is hard to like, because you got to also not refer to things that happened that day, because they'll air like 6 weeks apart.
Oh, of course.
Because they air it all out of order. So you record one, everyone changes their clothes, and you record another one, and then they air on different days. You know, it's not all like in a row or anything. But after when we come back from dinner and we go to shoot the 4th one, the producers come over to the panel with a bottle of vodka and 6 glasses. So if you go like behind, like if you took the camera behind the desk that was sort of sitting behind, there's just beers and mixed drink glasses, like 4 fingers of vodka, just straight.
And this could be, you guys could tape on a Monday.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
yeah,
then,
you're on a Monday. People are just in terrible. Some people got problematically drunk. I don't want to say the names Ryan Belleville or Niles again, but those 2 guys specifically got really hammered, where I had to like look at them just like, what? Come on, what are you? Get your head in the game here.
Lock it up.
Like we're still on TV.
Ryan Bell he's from Winnipeg, isn't he?
Ryan Belleville's from Calgary.
From Calgary.
Yeah, he's real funny, and he's got a show coming up on CTV that got picked up called Satisfaction.
Nice. Ryan Belleville and I worked on a commercial a long time ago on a Panasonic commercial where we're like on a road trip and we stop at this gas station, and then this little person jumps out of this like newspaper box.
Oh, I remember that commercial.
And he has like a camcorder, and like I'm like getting chips. Yeah. I'm the guy who goes into the gas station get chips, and then he freaks me out and I fall and I throw the chips everywhere and stuff. And my buddies in the commercial are laughing, and Ryan Belleville was one of those guys. That's why, and you know, I don't think I've seen him since that. And I think we did that commercial, and actually Kevin Smith directed that commercial. I think that was in like 03 or 04. It was a long time ago, but it was cool.
Crazy.
It was a cool.
Kevin Smith directed it, right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It was a cool little experience.
I remember being wildly impressed by that because at the time I had a signed Kevin Smith Dogma poster.
Nice.
The UK version in my hanging in a frame in my apartment. And you're like, yeah, Kevin Smith directed it. I'm like, what? Your life is perfect.
And then you smashed me in like NBA 2K2 at the time, right? When we had that Xbox tournament at your place way back when. I'm in studio here with Darrin Rose you can see him on Mr. D on CBC, or you can watch him on Match Game on the Comedy Network, and he has a concert. Oh, excuse me, Just for Laughs comedy tour in April. And then his own comedy tour, Still Chasing Manhood, which starts May 3rd. You can go to DarrinRose.com. The new website looks awesome.
Oh, thanks, man.
Very well done. I like the font, the Darrin Rose. And then you're like in your grown man fits now before. Your grown man outfit now, which is like the jacket and the shirt. Because before it was like you were wearing like a Punisher t-shirt in some of your press.
My old headshots, I was wearing a Punisher t-shirt.
Now you've evolved and you're a grown man. When are you gonna shave the beard? I know it's part of your signature, but dude, like, and you're lucky that you have a young face. But stop trying to age yourself, dude. Like you don't need to look. Not that you do, but you don't need to look 42 as you're like 32.
Right. Well, yeah. Because I used to look like really young. Like I haven't shaved in 9 years.
Holy cow! Wow. I don't even remember what you look like clean shaven. I met you when you were clean shaven.
That's true. Yeah. We met when I was clean shaven, but I think like I grew my beard like 11 years ago, but then I shaved once and then grew it back immediately. But like 11 years I've had a beard. Yeah, and then there's been like 2 cycles of beards being trendy since I've had a beard.
Right.
That's how long I've had it. But also, yeah, I do have a very young face. I used to say I look 14, but that was 11 years ago when I was much younger.
You still look the same age. You haven't. You and Tom Cruise have not aged.
I feel like, like when I go for an audition, they're like, "No, we're looking for someone younger." Oh, and then I'll shave it off. I'm like, look at me, I'm 5 years younger. I don't know. I have no plans though. It's part of who I am.
Okay.
I feel like, what if I shave it off and I'm not funny anymore?
Then you better grow that that mother bleeper back in about 12 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll get you out on this. I was just reading this thing on Mashable. There was this survey on Match.com about digital dating, and 5,000 single and married people were asked about their dating habits. And the two things that jumped out at me that I want to ask you about is 48% of the single women do their research on a potential partner on Facebook, whereas 38% of men do. And the interesting thing about that, because men would prefer to, find out about things in person with the, with girl, or person sitting across from them. But nearly half of the single men think that researching a person before the date is unacceptable. But most women do that, and then Facebook is like their tool for researching a person before they go on a date with them. Have you ever researched a date, and would you? If someone was trying to set you up with I can't remember, I don't know what your situation, but in the dating era of your life. Right.
Yeah, I have a lady now.
Okay, the dating era of your life. And is it the same girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's dope as hell.
Yeah.
So, okay, if someone was going to set you up with their friend Catherine, let's say, or whatever.
Right.
And they give you her name, would you go check her out on the book?
Totally. I used to do that all the time.
But would you check her out to see, just to see photos of her? Like, she's hot? I'll go. Or would you check her out to see, what she's about?
I would check out first photos to see if she was hot.
Right.
But then second, some sense of, is she a crazy person?
How many pictures of cats?
Is it all cats, or is it all pictures of her meals, or are all her posts about just, weird things I would never want to talk to a person about? Or is she just I knit. And there's little videos of different knitting. I'll be I don't think this is the girl for me. But I'm mostly searching for hotness and red flags.
Now, 42% of men that have sexted, sent pictures of themselves, would not be offended if the pic was shared, compared to 87% of women that have sexted, sent photos of themselves to men, would be offended if their pic was shared. Now, in the dating era of Darrin Rose, how often would you show your buddies photos of girls that have sent you pictures of themselves?
Well, I'll say this. The reason guys are not offended and girls are offended is because guys never have their face in that pic, and girls always have their face in that pic. You don't want your, I would never, I don't think girls get anything out of it if you're just here's a picture of my dick. Girls are not interested in that. Yeah, you better mark that one down. So I would never do that, but I just feel when girls send out a pic, the face is going to be in it. You don't want that to be on girlfriends.com or whatever.
Yeah, or the Chive. But I think girls, they're smarter now though. When they do selfies.
Right, they're
less likely to put their face. But it's I think it's just, I don't know what the percentage is or how many more times a woman would send a picture of herself than a guy would. It's probably something like 12 to 1 or 15 to 1.
I would only show it if it was either A, a person I hated, or B, a person who I didn't know, who was just hey, check out some pictures of me.
So an ex-girlfriend you would share? Do you hate it? Do you hate any of your ex-girlfriends?
Yes. But actually, no, I don't think I would share. I don't think I would. Maybe just anonymous. When, sometimes probably just girls just send you pictures, right?
Me personally?
Yeah. No, I mean, girls you don't know, who just hey, you're on TV.
No, I don't get that. I'm not a star. I'm not,
Really?
No, I don't get just randoms sending me photos of themselves. I have to at least know the person so they have my phone number, and then
right.
And maybe I would ask for one.
Right.
Full disclosure.
I think that's what you call line 3 in a conversation. Hi, I'm Cab. Here's my phone number. Can you send me a pic to this number?
My game is not refined.
It's logical, though.
Right. Hey, listen, I want to just skip a bunch of steps.
I'm surprised how often it works.
Yeah, man. It's quite a science.
It's shockingly effective. Well, you know what's funny about my career is when I started, everyone called me Darrin Jones.
Really?
And, yeah, because Darrin Jones, big guy. You know, he was on The Buzz, he was on MTV, and so everyone called me Darrin Jones, and then everyone called me that guy from SNL, and then they called me Jason Sudeikis. So it's just, I'm hoping one day to have my own identity.
I think you're close to that point. I think you're close.
Well, one day we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if Jason Sudeikis keeps getting more and more famous. It's like chasing a moving target. You know, I need him to like bottom out.
Wasn't there a time that you guys almost met?
Yes, I did a show that he co-hosts in New York, where it's a weird kind of show where comics go on stage and the co-hosts sit on stage and interact with the comic. So you kind of do a bit, and then they'll ask you about it, talk to you about it, or interject a joke and stuff. And I just happened to do it on a week he wasn't there.
Oh, man.
And so the other guy was like, next time you're in town, we're doing it, and we'll bring you both out at once. And then,
Are you going to New York sometime soon?
I have no plans. I'd feel silly to go there just to do that.
Why? That'd be awesome. You get to exchange wits with him. I'm sure you guys would just kill it. It would be.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. I've been Just for Laughs this year. I met Jay Farrow was there.
Oh, nice.
Well, Bill Hader interviewed me, and he's like, you know, you look like Jason, right? And I was like, yeah, I get that a lot. But not usually from guys who know him.
Right, exactly.
And then Jay Farrow was like, yo, man, you know, you look like Sudeikis, man. You know, like, all right, no homo? And I was like, what's going to come next? He's like, you're like a more Hollywood Jason Sudeikis. And I was like, that's the best thing anyone's ever said to me. Also, why did you say no homo?
Oh, that's awesome. Where did you meet these guys? Oh, you said, sorry, Just for Laughs. When it was in Montreal or when it was here?
In Montreal, yeah. So Bill Hader did a thing when, so I did like a big gala set, so it's on TV. And when you come off stage, it gets intercut with Bill Hader interviews the people.
Oh, cool.
So that was fun, and he's so funny. It was crazy. I was just like a spectator.
That's
like
awesome.
He's ostensibly interviewing me, and he'd ask me something, and I'd be like, what do you think? And then he'd just tell jokes for like 6 minutes, and I'd laugh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And then Jay Farrow and I were on the same show at like a club. And we were just sitting in the green room, and I was eating poutine and just, you know, hanging out, talking to all the comics. So.
Was he doing any impression? He's a great impressionist. That his Denzel and his Barack are pretty good. Denzel's great. His Will Smith's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I like about Jay. He does guys no one else is doing.
Right.
Have you ever seen anybody do a Will Smith impression
That's
before?
true. That's
Never.
true.
A Lil Wayne impression? Nope.
Ari Spears used to have a bunch.
That's true. Yeah, he used to do like DMX and Jay-Z.
Yeah. But Jay Farrow's is really strong, and certainly, and Ari Spears was a Mad TV guy, and Jay Farrow's on Saturday Night Live, and maybe someday we'll see you there, Darrin.
Maybe someday they'll need a new Sudeikis.
They'll need a new guy with a beard.
Yeah.
And Sudeikis doesn't even have a beard, right?
He doesn't. He did at one point, but he doesn't.
For a very short time.
Yeah. But still, it was enough for people to go like, you guys are the same. I saw this one picture of him 7 years ago. You guys are the same. You
can corner the market on dudes with beards.
Yeah.
Darrin Rose, DarrinRose.com. On Twitter's at Darrin Rose.
Yeah.
Are you on Instagram also?
I am not.
Okay. So it's just
Are you?
Yeah.
I gotta get
I'm not, but I'm annoying on Instagram. Like I put food pics.
Do you really?
Yeah. Fat guys love food. So I just,
I would love it if you put food pics, but it was all like pictures of your
my
chest
shirt?
and your lap.
All the crumbs and the stains.
Just like a part of a sandwich, and you're like, no, this fell.
I should just take a picture of my bed because that's usually where in my own misery, that's where I'm eating, and it's like popcorn kernels and like crumbs crumbs of like Doritos. There was that one time I woke up with like part of my face in like a half-eaten piece of pizza. Oh man! And
that's how you know you had a good night the night before.
Oh man, my life. I've seen better days. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to have Darrin Rose here with me in studio. You can catch him every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on CBC in a show called Mr. D. And Match Game on the Comedy Network is on all the time.
All the time. It's on every day at 7, and then I think every 40 minutes after that on a loop.
And, of course, you can check out his tour dates on DarrinRose.com. He'll be doing a Just for Laughs festival here in Ontario in March, and then in April. In April, and then Still Chasing Manhood begins May 3rd in Victoria.
In Victoria.
In Victoria. So you guys can check that out. Hopefully we'll have him back before he goes on tour, and I'll be the loud, obnoxious banging on the chairs, my knee, when you have a show in Toronto, or maybe we'll intersect somewhere on the road. But thanks for being back here, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Cabbie Presents, the podcast.